Israel Laryea, welcome to Personality Profile.
Thank you very much, Lexis.
For starters, we need to give you a round of applause. You've been amazing. You have been amazing, and Ghana loves you. I mean, when we put out the word that you were going to be on the show, I've gotten God knows how many messages, lots of them. In fact, I had questions that I was going to ask you, but it looks like I'm going to ask the questions people are asking. Lots of it. One very prominent one that stood out. A lot of people are asking me. They hear you're called Bobby, and Bobby. What name is that? Because I know the short form of Israel is Izzy. So
okay, that's fine. Let them keep the questions coming in.
So you're called Bobby around here.
Don't you want to compile the questions if you get
no.
three or four?
We start. No, I have a lot of them. Let's start with Bobby.
Okay, give me about 4 of them, and then we can start.
Okay, it's not Bobby. That's why you're not answering.
It's what?
Bobby. Okay, actually, there's a second name. The first name and a surname, but I don't want to pronounce.
Okay.
Yeah,
let's end it all here.
Okay.
Bobby. There's a colleague of ours who he started calling me Bobby. I said, where's this name too coming from? And he says, he thought I liked the name Robert. So Robert, Bob, and then Bobby.
That's how come you got the name Bobby.
Yeah, I think so. And
you think so?
Yeah, when you get the name like that.
Do you plan on being dishonest with us? Because if you think so, that's a little.
when you get the name like that, I mean, usually you don't want to fight it. When you're in school and they give you a name and you resist it, and then it sticks.
Okay.
So I thought if I didn't resist it, it was just going to go away, but
it didn't go away.
And people are putting all sorts of interpretations to it.
Okay. One
of the interpretations
is
that they said I like boobs.
Oh, but do you?
Okay. Now.
No, do you?
No, wait.
Okay.
I'm going to answer you.
Okay.
Right. Who doesn't like boobs? Don't you like boobs?
You don't answer a question with a question, Israel.
Okay.
Do you like boobs?
I like boobs.
Okay.
Don't you like boobs?
Since you are the one that... No.
Today, don't you like boobs?
Today you don't get to ask questions, Israel. You get to answer them.
See.
Are we clear here? Are we clear with the terms of engagement? Israel Laryea, are we okay? Israel Laryea, Bobby Nipples, are we okay?
Look, the boobs. The boobs happen to be... What do I call it? One of the most universally accepted and appreciated human part.
Okay.
Universally accepted. Babies love boobs.
Okay.
Even the women themselves love their boobs.
Okay.
And Lexis,
are you explaining?
Lexis loves boobs.
Are you? Okay. Away from all that, and now I understand you are the smooth operator as well. They call you the smooth operator.
That one, I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know about that as well?
No. Who came up with that?
I don't know, but they're telling me that Israel is the smooth operator, both on the job and other areas. Well, since you're not sure of that as well, I want to assume that it's part of the earlier explanation that you gave us.
No.
But it's okay.
It could be. It could be people are just coming up with their own names. I mean, I can imagine. You're not. This is the first time hearing about smooth operator.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm sure I have like 100 nicknames.
Well, you can WhatsApp at 0244340437. I'm sure you have more interesting questions to ask.
If there are
Israel.
other nicknames, please.
You have other ones there. Okay, so really, Israel, how long have you been in the media? I think you've been in it for like forever. Because I remember watching you when you were when I was much younger on TV.
It looks like it. So, started in March 1999.
1999?
Yeah. So, in fact, next year, going to be 2 decades in there.
20 years in the media industry. Wow.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Describe this journey in 3 words.
I'll give you one word. I think it's been consistency. Just being consistent with what I do.
Awesome. Wow. Let's talk about 1999.
All right.
What happened in that year?
1999, I was looking for a job. I've always thought that I could do a good job in broadcasting. I've always wanted to be a broadcaster. Well, not always. When I grew up,
Okay.
when I finished O level, I looked at my results slip, and my best subject was English. And then I told myself, okay, if your best subject is English, you probably should be looking at a profession that you could put that to use.
And this is you telling yourself that,
Yeah.
not your parents suggesting no, sort.
And so I said, okay, so broadcasting would be great. And I made a few efforts. I recall there was one time GBC, they were looking for newscasters, and I applied, and nothing became of that.
They didn't take you?
Oh yeah, they didn't.
Did they even invite you for an interview?
Yeah, I'm not even sure they looked at my letter.
Wow.
But then subsequently when TV3 came,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd read this book about how to win friends and influence people by Dale
Carnegie. Yeah.
And once I read it, I was so full of confidence. It told me how to approach some of these things. I decided TV3 had started at the time, and I decided to walk to TV3 and present an application. There too, I had some resistance, and that was the end of the story at that point. And then subsequently,
What form of resistance? You submitted the letter.
you typically get to the gate. I was so full of confidence, and Dale Carnegie had taught me that all I needed to do was to go past the receptionist. But the receptionist won't let me go past her. She said, yeah, drop your letter and go. I mean, subsequently, there was much later on, that was in 1999.
Mm-hmm.
I was working with mobile water. Yes. Okay, so a sachet water producing company.
Right.
And
Mobile water. I remember mobile water.
So then I saw an announcement on TV3. They said we were looking for production assistant. Again, Dale Carnegie told me that you have to put a foot in the door. And so I said, okay, I should put that foot in the door. So I went in as a production assistant, and the rest is history.
So at mobile water, what were you doing?
Hey, mobile water.
You were selling pure water.
Look, I went in there as an account clerk.
Okay.
But I ended up doing virtually everything. I was doing the accounting.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing I was actually distribution manager,
Right.
procurement manager, factory. If there were any machines in the factory that broke, they would call them sealers. Use them to seal. I would fix them. If there were any issues, I was going to take it up. So I essentially ended up doing virtually everything. I mean, I was picking the boss's kids from school as well.
Oh wow!
I did virtually everything. But one of the things, I think that one of the most tasking, the most humbling of the jobs was to pack a whole Kia truck. I'm not talking about Abuzoka Macho or the Jumbo. I'm talking about the
big one,
big Kia truck. Pack it with bags of sachet water, and I'm carrying like 3 bags here, 3 bags. I'm talking about huge. Pack them, drive the truck, go out there, because the workers would come from distribution, and it was in the very early stages of sachet water. This wasn't, and you had to sell to the people.
Mm-hmm.
So I was getting calls. The people wanted water. And yet the workers would come in around 3-4 thereabout and say, we're tired, and if we go again, we're going to come back late. So I say, okay, I'll take the truck, pack the water, go out there and go and distribute the water. So I get there myself, I get off the truck, give them the water.
Offload the water yourself.
Offload the water myself. And it was one of the humbling things, jobs that I ever did. But I felt fulfillment in the fact that I was meeting a need. The people out there who wanted mobile water to get to them, I was out there serving them. And
Wow.
For me, that was it. And I mean, up till today, the people I encounter, and they're like, yeah, he used to bring us mobile water.
Wow. Awesome.
Many years ago.
Lots of messages are coming in, and I'm sure they have very interesting questions as well. We'll put them through. Now, so after mobile water, you got into TV3 as a production assistant?
Production assistant. So that was in March 1999.
Mm-hmm.
What I really wanted was to be a news person, like on honor personality.
Okay.
But then a foot in the door. So I get in as a production assistant, and I learned production very, very quickly because before, in 6 months, I switched from production to the news department. Now, within that 6 months, I had done quite a bit of work in television production, including going to film Dr. Mensa Otabil when they started Living Word years ago. So I'll go there, and after we've done the main production, film the church service, I'll go back there and get to meet him, arrange with him, and go and film him where he was going to do intros.
Okay.
So that's a part where he starts with saying, shalom, peace, and all that. Yeah. So I was the one who was the production assistant on the job, and so, and it also included, filming some music videos, or there was a show we had back then at TV3, In Person. So In Person, I did one with Rocky Dawuni, where he came into the studio. We filmed we played his music, and I was directing as they were, it was interesting doing TV production. But
okay, we'll get into the tenets of the job and life at TV3 and fast forward to multimedia.
Yeah.
But before then, you mentioned that it wasn't really like you always wanted to be a broadcaster.
Yeah.
It was at the point of realizing that you're good in English that you decided to take that job. But before then, what did you want to be?
Wanted to be a pilot.
A pilot?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're on air.
I know, right? So, yeah. And I still haven't abandoned that dream of becoming a pilot. Because,
oh, you haven't?
No, at any point in time, I can learn how to fly.
Wow.
Yes.
You will do that?
I will do that.
Awesome.
I will do that.
Where did that desire come from?
Okay, so this one, I had an uncle who was a diplomat, and Mr. Dote. And he used to get back to us. He would travel, come back to Ghana, and he would talk about the fact that when you're on the plane, at the time, man was hollering, As a kid, things were not, that rosy for us. Things were a bit tough. And I loved food. Or probably I was hungry most of the time, and so I wanted food. And he would talk about the fact that on the plane, they get to serve you all sorts of dishes. And anything you wanted on the plane, you could get. So I was like, wow. And see, forgive me, but I had this cruel imagination that if there was so much food on the plane, can you imagine if the plane crashed at some point? I could go there and go and scatter the food. Forgive me, I was a child. But then later on, I told myself, so imagine if I was the pilot. If the passengers were getting all that food, the pilot, I'm going to get anything at all I want. It was one of the things that drove me to want to become a pilot.
With a diplomat uncle, we say you had a privileged upbringing?
No, he was my uncle. Okay, so I wouldn't say a privileged. I keep on saying that I believe I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. At some point, that silver spoon was taken away, and I was giving a wooden ladle.
At what point?
This was many years ago. I mean, before I actually, I think I was way before I became a teenager. I'd say about 6, 7 thereabout. Yeah.
What happened?
My dad lost his job, or things went wrong, with my dad, and so yeah, that was it. When probably if I say a silver spoon, I was probably exaggerating a bit. It wasn't a silver spoon. It was we're just okay.
Okay.
We're fine. My dad had a car at the time. We had a house where we had a house help, and things were just okay. So I won't say silver spoon really, but things were okay.
How drastic was the change when he lost his job?
I probably didn't feel it so much because some way somehow I get some food, to eat.
Yeah.
And but I never felt that I had enough food. Here's one other story I'll share. Growing up, and this is a story that makes my mom special, and it's actually also informed the way I live my life. This was in Laboni. We were living in a chamber and hall with my parents and my 3 siblings. And it was in the middle of the night. I was hungry. I crawled from the bedroom where I was with my parents and my siblings to the hall, because I knew that my mom had prepared food that we're going to have the following day. It was banku made of yellow corn. And I went in there, took a bit of the banku, and dipped it into the sauce. And I was having it in the middle of the night. My mom woke up and found me in the hall. At that point, you'd expect that you're going to get, some whipping.
Mm-hmm.
My mom didn't whip me. She sat me down and served me in the middle of the night.
Wow.
This is one thing that has really shaped my life and the way I handle my kids.
If there was any lesson your mom taught you, what would it be?
I learned a lot of things from my mom. But this was one of the things I learned from her. The fact that you're not just whipping the child for whipping's sake. There's a reason why the child may be doing what they're doing. I mean, and I wasn't a typical naughty boy who was causing confusion all over the place. So my mom saw through it at the point that my son was hungry.
Mm.
And so let me just feed him. But I learned so much from my mom. The number one thing was she called it economize, not to waste stuff. And she taught me bulk buying. I don't think that I earn so much. I believe that, and this is something I share with my wife all the time, it's not so much about how much you earn. It's about how you spend. And so economizing is about spending so that you can save a bit more. Otherwise, if you're just spending recklessly, then you're not gonna make that saving.
Well, we are getting some saving tips as well from Israelite today on Personality Profile. Let's switch over to your dad. One lesson dad taught you.
Discipline.
How?
One thing, my dad was in the military, and he kept on saying that.
Wait, and he lost his job?
Well, so he left the military.
Okay.
And then he was working with Bible Society.
Right.
And working with Bible
They made the small blue books.
New
Testament.
Yep. So they were distributing those ones. So he was working with Bible Society of Ghana, and at some point.
Oh, then you should know the Bible pretty well.
Well, I was brought up, in a very Christian home.
Okay.
And yes, I know the Bible pretty well.
Matthew 7 verse 7.
Oh, please.
Move on. But if there was any sermon you want to share with us this evening, what would it be?
It would be about. It wouldn't be. Okay, I'd say that just live your life. Be of much help to people as much as possible, so that my motto is for God and country. So anything I do, I'm hoping that, or I believe, or I'd want it to serve my country, my God. It should please my God, and it should help my country.
Awesome. Okay, let's talk about school now. Take us through your school journey. Where did you start?
All right, so Patricia Daycare Center, that was in Osu. And incidentally, it turns out that the wife of the Patricia Daycare Center, the husband of the Patricia Daycare Center happened to
Patricia's husband?
Patricia's husband happened to be the speaker Professor Michael Quay.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
And then I went to school with one of his sons. I went to
Okay.
Osu Presbyterian Preparatory School. So from Patricia Daycare Center, Osu Presbyterian Preparatory School, we called it Bluffo School. And the reason why we're calling it was called Bluffo School, it was because it's right next to Ebenezer Presby Church.
Okay.
And the Ebenezer Presby, so they called it Bluffo School because where we found ourselves, we're not like the Morning Stars. Because Morning Star wasn't too far away from, or Richard, which wasn't too far away from the school. But then we found ourselves in a cluster of, public schools.
Okay.
And because we were told that you're supposed to be speaking English all the time in school, if you didn't speak English, they're going to fine you, they're going to lash you or something.
Yeah.
So we're called Bluffo School because we're speaking English and all that. But it wasn't like they say in the land of the what? In the land of the
land of the blind,
the one-eyed
blind,
man,
the one-eyed
man
is king.
is king. So
Okay.
it was that kind of thing. But it turned out that Bluffo School set some really high standards.
Okay.
And Bluffo School, right there, Super Eastern Preparatory School, is still setting some really, really high standards.
And you
Right
attended
now.
Akraka.
Okay, so from Super Eastern Preparatory School, I read the common entrance, and then this was way back. Common
Yeah.
entrance, it will be Wasi now.
Yeah.
And then went to Okwapman School
Okay.
from Form 1 to Form 5. And then from Okwapman School went to Accra Academy.
Okay. Okay.
And then from Accra Academy, it's funny, Okwapman School, I left Okwapman School at the end. My O-levels, I had a distinction in the O-level.
Oh, you did.
And then turned out when I went to Accra Academy, A-levels, it didn't go too well.
Really?
But I
Do you remember your score?
I had D E E or so. You want me to say this one? Then I've said it.
Go ahead. You're saying.
All right. So after Accra Academy, because the results were not too good, I had to rewrite it.
Oh.
That too didn't go too well. But in all of that, I'm thinking that. So I couldn't really progress to the university.
Okay.
In all of that, though, I felt that it was probably God's plan for me. Because he wanted me to be doing something else.
Yeah.
Maybe if I had gone through, I was going to end up being something else.
Okay. So it was after this period that you landed a job at the Mobile Water?
Yeah.
Okay. Amazing stuff. Back in school, did you belong to any clubs? Did you do any sporting activity?
No, not sporting. It's funny. It's funny. Recently, I went to the Legon Stadium and I ran 400 meters in about a minute 12 seconds or so.
Okay.
Now, then I told myself, I probably have a chance in athletics. Back then in school, my first attempt at running, we had to get onto the school field and they wanted to find out, how good we were and all that. So there was a race. I flung so bad, 100 meters. Man. From then on, I never approached any sporting discipline.
Okay, so let's talk about work life now. You managed to get into TV3 from being a production assistant. You rose to become a person. What do you think got you onto screen? Just a good voice to be a great presenter?
No, not just a good voice. You need a bit more, but yes, a good voice will set you apart.
Okay.
Because if you have a good voice, then it's a voice, the people would love to hear.
Okay.
And once you have that voice, the other things can support. But at the time, I had a good voice. I didn't think that I had good looks. But recently TV3 did something where they were playing. They were going back to show some of the very early newscasts that we did, and I was looking at myself, and I told myself that, look, if this guy came to me right now, Joe News, and said he wanted to be on TV, I'd advise him against it. Seriously.
Serious?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think that I had it. So I think for me, it was
You
the
see
voice.
yourself now and you say, oh, God has been good.
Oh, God has been good. Very good.
I need one sentence answers.
Yeah.
Why did you quit TV3 the first time?
How can I answer this with one sentence?
Yeah.
And
I don't want you to explain.
oh, how?
Just tell us.
Things didn't work. we had disagreements. Let's just say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Salary?
No.
Not at all.
salary. Not salary. Not at all.
Okay.
I was looking for an opportunity, and I wanted to go to school, and I wanted TV3 to support, but TV3 they were not interested in supporting.
Okay.
And I said, okay, I'd want to take a second job so that I can still,
Go to
fund
school.
fund my schooling and still work for you. They said no. At that point, I had to take that
Okay.
other job.
And you came to multimedia.
I just walked to. I met Komla Dumo at the TV3 car park. And I told him that, I'd like to come join you guys. He said, great. Well, the late Komla Dumo, blessed memory. And he said, great. Yeah, so, let's do it. I recall he was using this Nokia communicator back then. KD.
Best moments on the job.
There are lots, but one of them that I would hold dear, and I still hold really dear, was about a major beverage maker in this country, and there was something that was not too pleasant about them, and I had a scoop, and I wanted to. Well, I did the story. I got my interview. I did the story. I got my interview with the regulator of that company, and I did my story. Now, I came to the office, all right. I mean, the typical thing that we do is that once you've done the story, you hear from the other side. So then I wanted a response from the company. The company said they were not going to respond and that story should be killed. They didn't want the story to go on air. Now, we went over this story. So we had an interview. We're just waiting for a response to fly the story. They said they weren't going to give a response. They threatened us. They threatened Joy FM that if we aired that story, they were going to pull their adverts. We negotiated with them. We tried to convince them. They said, no way. Eventually, the management of Joy FM stood with me and said, if you're not going to respond, we're going to air the story. We aired the story. They pulled out the adverts. But for me, I really got to respect Joy FM. The fact that they would stand by me in a situation like this meant that, this was a company to die for.
Right. Anything in your career you regret?
No, don't have any regrets. I don't.